Saran Sat Sri Akal and a very warm good evening to another one of my very exciting, very informative shows done for the Akal channel viewers. Niga Swagat, Jai Shri Krishna, Jambusana and Salam. So I hope this evening I can bring you some very creative show, health show with a lot of information about a condition. And this condition, some of these have not been discussed in the past, and they are issues that are coming in my clinic which are concerning, and I thought it was time to share with my viewers. Folks, life is very complicated, but we need to make peace with our past so it will not disturb us in the present. If we don't and we stay ohi jhagdiyan de vich, ohi ghar de masliyan de vich, we will get into an entrapment of anger and hatred and animosity, which can create stress, a huge rise of adrenaline, a huge rise of abnormal raised cortisol, which is the condition I'll be talking to you about, and you'll wonder what it is going to be. What other people think is none of their business, and it shouldn't concern you. Things in life, sometimes we can become sensitive and we can feel that somebody has said something with their bitter tongue and it hurts us. Let's forget that. And it's nice to think positive rather than negative, but in that negativity sometimes we spend so much time drilling that we don't have time to heal the past and move in the present and live for now and today. Your life is your health. Your life is your well-being. Let me take you on to this amazing journey today, which is of great concern, which is fibromyalgia. Folks, fibromyalgia, and I'm discussing a little bit in Punjabi, but a lot in English because it's a chronic condition coming up with youngsters. Fibromyalgia is a widespread muscular skeletal pain, fatigue, disturbances, and it's through the course of my therapies and the various scans that I do, and the most one I give preference in fibromyalgia of such varied conditions which I will discuss today is the NES scan, N-E-S. The nutrienergetic scanning gives me so much information well before the trigger factor, even before allopathic actually can diagnose with the spinal fluid to say whether this person does have a raised CPR or their PMR or BMR or ESR is very raised. And in allopathy, fibromyalgia is still not known, and many years will be neglected and ignored by the GP in their well thought thinking it is symptoms that don't exist, it may be in the head, but we need to listen to the patient. With the fibromyalgia condition, they are so varied. This is why there's no significance and sometimes can be ignored for up to 10 years before it becomes full-blown, and then before it becomes a crippling condition. And it could be a lot of pain all over the body, difficult to get up in the morning, and you feel like you've done a heavy workout, absolutely exhausted. Lots of picture images come there to make my show so creative, so I need to thank the staff and the camera team for being so jointly, actively taking part and creating this a very creative show. Not just of trying to say, come and see me, for sure. I do homeopathy, naturopathy. All my treatments, we work and bring all conditions at bay and often treat every condition other than grade 4 cancers. So in homeopathy, naturopathy, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and the number that will run on the screen time and time again. But please don't ring at unsociable hour of 9:40, 10:40, and last week, 12 midnight and 1 o'clock, there were calls. Very unsociable. Do respect my space, and the number is 07886 880591. Betabi na karo. Do call the next day or give me a call or email me on manjitkaur51, MANJITKAUR 51 at yahoo.co.uk. I'll always respond promptly. So don't rush to block the lines just to see if this number is working. The number is certainly working, but I will certainly not entertain it unless it's a patient of mine undergoing treatment. For your information, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਵੇਂ viewers are, and every week I'm getting information that new viewers and a lot of my Muslim friends are watching these shows across the globe of UK, Europe, America, Asia, Africa. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਨਿੱਘਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ, and the heartiest thank you for your appreciation and that these shows are giving you a wealth of knowledge of what I'm talking about. And today is fibromyalgia. So people would feel like they've got complete exhaustion, as if they've done a massive workout. Every muscle, every joint is heavy and it's aching. And $20 billion is used in the course of care of fibromyalgia in UK. That is a heavy load on NHS, $20 billion. I'm not talking about pounds. It's the second most common diagnosis made after rheumatoid, and made by rheumatologists, especially by British rheumatologists, that this is what is the care costs of patients who need home care, who need assistance, who need nurses to get home because their mobility is so impaired. Pain, fatigue, stiffness is the most common symptom of fibromyalgia, and obviously there is so much intensity of pain which can vary from person to person, and it is a lifetime program that I will support the patient but also get the symptoms at bay. And so many fibromyalgia patients today are free from pain, have a very happy and a very healthy life after having treatment from ourselves. Treatments मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕਰਤਾ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵੇਰੀ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਆ clinic ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. No one treatment can be actually for everybody. This is why the beauty of alternative medicine is treatment for the patient, with the patient, involving the patient. But with allopathy, it is looking only at your symptoms and blasting in steroids and painkillers, numerous, and also antidepressants, because they think it's a depression offset, but on the contrary it isn't. Fibromyalgia can be a very severe disease with multiple sclerosis, can step in with systematic lupus and Sjögren's syndrome, which is also from fibromyalgia. I have very successfully treated patients Birmingham and in London clinic in Ivor, and also a very happy news that on the 8th to 11th of June, I will be in Edinburgh, and on the 11th of June, I will be in Glasgow, and I'll be there just for a day to treat patients. So anybody wants appointments in Edinburgh or Glasgow, I'll be literally at your doorstep rather than you traveling to Birmingham to assist you in any symptoms other than grade 3 and grade 4 cancers, which I avoid. Folks, don't let the disease knock you out for 6 and then you rush out. I've had fibromyalgia patients who I've told for the last, and their wives for 8 years, they're heading to problems because NEST scans showed chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, and that they need to go on essential fats and they need to have some good fats and some good fish. But because they've been to some Babajis in India, and they've been condoned to have that, and they start wearing a lot of stuff around their lal dhage, after dhage, pandit to, and a lot of other stones around their body to protect them. But the disease has certainly knocked on their doorstep. And I'm shocked that from the month of November 2015 to date, to last week, I now have 12 fibromyalgia patients, all who were given symptoms, who showed symptoms and were given the warning by myself they're heading to a condition. At this point, the patient who came to me in December and October last year has now got chronic fibromyalgia, so chronic that he cannot get out of bed, and so painful that he cannot get to work. But you need to listen to your body when it is giving you signals. We seem to take care of our motor car and quickly get the tire pressure done. We'll quickly get the air put in. We'll quickly change a new battery. We'll quickly change the spark plugs. And everything has to be about our mode of travel, which is our vehicle, which is our car. It gives us a status. But the same people who have been running around collecting materialistic things today, are now off work and bedridden. And all the status about materialistic things has crashed out on them. And there is literally no hope from the doctors. It's just saying, stay at home, take the steroids up to 25 to 50 milligrams, start bringing them down. And there's no other cure for pain and lack of sleep and no movement, and also triggering of Alzheimer's. Some of these patients already showed symptoms 6 years ago of Alzheimer's, now have the shakiness. So NASH is so amazing, folks, that it gives me so much information prior to the buildup of the disease, and it tells us the electrical disturbance in the body, which is the exact mode which is happening within the brain's axons and neurons in fibromyalgia. And we'll come to that today. So, 1990 was when it was given a name, fibromyalgia, by American College of Rheumatology. Before that, fibromyalgia did not have a name. And all sorts of other things, certainly social, vocational activities, reduce the quality of the lifestyle of the patient or the person who's suffering from fibromyalgia. Difficulty to perform daily tasks becomes an issue. Everyday tasks become stressing for them as a consequence. Movement and exercise routines, if they have any. A lot of fibromyalgia patients have got numb, dumb lifestyle, very little walking. And by the way, fibromyalgia seems to attack Punjabi women more than men. I have. But I'm shocked that I'm getting men every day. I'm even more shocked, folks, that I'm getting their muscles which have not been used, and for walking, for stretching exercises, or have been repeatedly used. Overusage of muscles can also be causing chronic fatigue syndrome. A lot of them will have burning, shooting pain, ag baldiya, shooting pain in the muscles that stops them, and they'll just stay there, wait for the pain to go through. Because the body's pain modulators are now not functioning, and because the brain's axons and neurons are not sending any pain chemicals other than your painkillers, you're now dependent on the painkillers and waiting for that pain to subside. It could be throbbing, it could be somebody stabbing you, and that could hinder your movement. Fibromyalgia is even worse than rheumatology or arthritis, but sometimes has the links of the two. They will also have very painful upper back. If you can keep on seeing the images being put by the staff, I need to graciously thank them. Neck pain, joint pain, shoulder and lower back. All fibromyalgia patients, sometimes a majority of them would say it hurts everywhere. Their whole body aches. They just don't know which limb to move when. And that is quite stagnation of lifestyle because of this crippling disease. They'll be chronically fatigued and flushed out, absolutely no energy, just like a dead dog, just sitting there, not to insult anybody, but that's how you feel. One would say, I feel as dead as a dog. And obviously, in some cases, they'll have no energy even to pick up their arms. They'll have a lot of brain fatigue, tiredness, mental exhaustion, totally drained energy, no taqat, no shanshilta, no shakti to do a day's work, or even for a bibi to make rotiyan, to cut onions. Some of these women will have to wait for their daughters to come home because their whole body aches. But we must look at the psychosomatic symptoms, because this is where my theory comes in of dealing with the mind, then the physical, but keeping the mental situation and understanding how the patients contracted this, what is the way they are sitting, how are they communicating with me, what are their social problems at home, child, daughter, divorce, financial, husband torturing, alcohol abuse, drugs children having, where the mothers then become so tied up with a family, कह लो कि अपनी ਜਿਹੜੀ cord है ਕੱਟਦੀ नहीं बच्चों तो, let go of the children as they've grown up and learn to live for yourself. That is how I actually started the program. So I'm actually making you stronger that when children have their office jobs, they're not going to be knocking on your door and saying, Mom, can I make you a meal? Children do become selfish, some are very caring, and my respect to them. And obviously, because they're totally drained, just movement of arms and legs will feel like concrete blocks. They just cannot lift arms and legs. They are heavy, they're clumpy until they end up having a massive steroid dose. Then they start moving a week later. They'll have serious sleep disorders, fibromyalgia patients, and these are called the alpha EEG anomaly. And it's the brain's various patterns which give us a stage 4 deep sleep, which is constantly interfered, and it causes them to feel irritable. So we have alpha, delta, beta waves, and these are the waves that put us into deep sleep, dream sleep, or a frightful sleep, where you get bad dreams. Often IBS is a trigger factor from what I have seen as a gut specialist, because I also do colon hydrotherapy, is IBS condition. Irritable bowel syndrome. It is a tag that GPs normally put very quickly to say, oh, you got IBS. But there are some other factors that I would look as food combining excretion of fecal matter, the duration, the shape, the size, the reason why it's blocked up. Because this is where your solar chakra is, which is your emotional baggage, is in the central nervous system, is here connecting to the brain. The brain is not the central first focal point. It is the small intestine and the solar plexus where your belly button is. That is your solar chakra, affecting your crown chakra, your Taj. So interesting this is. So IBS, we could be constipation, it could be diarrhea. And in the interim of having this, they get demineralized. I do 114 minerals to shoot up the minerals, which could be gold, silver, tamba, which is copper, platinum. All these minerals are so important. And I have an amazing mix and concoctions that we have created, which are from Mother Earth and nature as intended, which have been there for over 8,000 years in liquid form. So amazing that you, in the duration of taking it for at least 3 months, your body will mineralize again. So I do a lot of salt mineral bases in 2 different forms, but they are about 4 different variations, which one to give when. And these are amazing things that are a missing link to the muscle fibrin, the muscle tissue. A muscle, folks, is like knit one, pearl one, jida sweater di buntiya. That is how a human muscle is. It is so complex, but in that complexity, it needs food, it needs nutrition, it needs to repair. It can only repair if you are in deep sleep. If you are not in deep sleep and you are in a broken sleep, intermittent, maybe with the irritable bowel syndrome, maybe with the incontinence, maybe with urinary problems, maybe diabetic, that you have a broken sleep, this can make your sreer feel tuttiya and hambya. By the time you wake up in the morning, you want more sleep because you have not refreshed. 4 hours of deep sleep is enough to regenerate the whole body, and so they say you need another 3 hours of sleep to help you to feel better overall. But I need about 3 to 4 hours. In that interim, obviously, comes in the food, comes in the juicing, going organic, looking at vegetables, looking at so many other things that we will be guiding you at the end of the show. Always keep a paper and pencil ready. Never ring to say, "Tusi ki kya siga, main likhya nahi hai." So keep your ears open. I know it's an evening show. It's the end of the day. But we'll certainly put you into a deep relaxation sleep, because some of them who've been looking for answers probably will find them at the end of the show and say, I have all these symptoms that Dr. Majid has listed. I think I need to look at them before it gets serious. Things knock on our door. We get a genetic disposition. How much time are you going to take is the question I am asking you. The longer you take, the more the disease is manifesting. In that manifestation, you are going to become chronically more ill and more disposition will happen and more illness will step in, and it's going to take wee bit longer. The quicker you come, there's a kahawat in English saying they stitch in 9 tears, in time saves time, कि जिन्नी छेती तुसी आओ ਜਾਂ ਸਵੈਟਰ ਦੀ ਬੁੰਤੀ ਕੁੰਡਾ ਡਿੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਛੇਤੀ ਚੱਕ ਲਓ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਵੈਟਰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਉੱਧਰ ਜਾਏਗਾ. The same story with your body. Obviously, NAS, I keep on coming back to it. It shows me the electrical disturbance of the patient, and it is this disturbance that I correct. And when we correct it, it gives us amazing results. Patients will have abdominal pains, fibromyalgia patients, abdominal gas, nausea. Up to 75% fibromyalgia patients will have these symptoms. They will have chronic headaches. 50% of the patients will have chronic headaches, recurrent migraines, tension headaches. Fibromyalgia will also have facial and jaw tenderness. 248 muscles in a face. It is one of the most complex structure of the body. Yes, we have long muscles, we have short muscles, we have the lymphs, the joints, the ligaments, but the facial muscles are so complex. It takes 4 muscles to smile, and 248 muscles can be used to frown or to put up a sad melancholy face. So let's smile and let's be happy for yourself, for your life, and for your well-being. So in the interim, all the facial muscles will be under tension, and that can cause huge amount of facial tightness, jaw pain, sometimes jaw locking, but not very common. Multiple chemical sensitivities can happen in fibromyalgia. Sensitivities to noise, to light. They don't like light. To medication, various kinds. They will have sensitive stomach, sensitive liver, sensitive gallbladder, sensitive stomach enzymes. Everything they react to, and that leads on to chronic fatigue syndrome. Obviously, very common to 70% of fibromyalgia and CFS people is food and food intolerances. Other symptoms for girls could be pain around menses, cycle time. And like I told you, young girls not getting married or having children by the age of 30 to 35 is not helping, because the hormones haven't changed. And in the interim, a huge amount of toxic waste has obviously increased. Hormone imbalance is so complex and is so delicate that it's important that you do sort your future out and stop. Look at careers, but sometimes some careers can take long to finish, but otherwise marriage is important. They also have chest pains, AAM stiffness, as we've mentioned. Cognitive memory impairment is a huge problem for fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue symptoms. They'll have muscle pain, but numbness and tingling sensation in arms, legs, shoulders, neck, as if they're getting a current falling, and it just goes and stops, and that in that mode the person just stays still for it to pass out. Muscle twitching, a lot of twitching, which I told a patient 8 years ago when I told his wife he's heading on, and now he's come to me with this shaky syndrome with chronically high PMR and very high fibromyalgia symptoms, unable to move, and it certainly knocked on the doorstep, but I was cross with them for ignoring the symptoms. Swollen joints, and obviously a lot of problems with how they feel, skin sensitivities, dry eyes, dry mouth. And let's go on to, after this short break, of what are the symptoms, but what are the foods we need to avoid, and what are the foods we need to take after this short, sweet water break. Take care, stay tuned, and do not move the remote control.